All right, and cutting back to our live stream, David Eldar on the overpowered left side of the board here. Again, player sitting on the left side is the player going first, and the player going first has won each of the first 5 games. Harshan, his ability to break serve here would clinch him his first world champion title. Can he do it? We will find out shortly as the tiles have been bagged. We are just about ready to go. Folks, this is so exciting. Could this be the final game of the World Scrabble Championship? Only time will tell. Will, are you with us?
I'm here, and I'm hoping I have no real horse in the race here, but I am rooting for David Eldar in this game so that we can get one more game, that decisive game 7. That would be amazing. But if Harshan closes it out here, it will be an incredible accomplishment for an incredible player. So there really is no negative outcome here.
You see the check in the background behind David's head, 10,000 American dollars to the winner. Harshan would love to have it, but that's going to be difficult as David has found a blank on the first tile out of the bag. Blank EERT, a G, and a P. So David to bingo here, perhaps fitting a protege to play for 74 points, and both of these players opening vertically all series. I'm here for it. I'm a verti myself. So 74 points and an opening turn bingo for the Aussie David Eldar, who is playing for his life. But this gives back a nice medical word to the doctor, and he's already seen it. Epitaxis for 84 points, or expiates another 8 through the same tile for the same score. Will, is there any strategic merit to one of these plays over the other?
It doesn't feel like either of the plays through the P are necessarily that different from one another. I guess I would probably prefer to play expiates. Maybe not, actually, given again that Harshan can expect to be down an average score after David's next play. He may opt to play epitaxis, and he has, to make a much more hittable line off of that first E of epitaxis. If he's trying to assume that he's still going to be down and that he needs a little bit of extra openness, that is a little bit easier to play bingos ending in D or R than it would be had he played expiates instead. But I really want to shout out Eldar, David Eldar here, for playing protege so fast. The only 7-letter bingo available with that rack, and he played it that quickly, knowing all the while that protege actually takes an E hook, I think, for a female protege or something like that, which is a little bit of a risk. So had he had a different bingo available to play, he surely would have wanted to play that instead, but he wasted absolutely no time playing his only bingo here. Very impressive job of time management on his part.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is a humongous swing in Harshan's favor. I actually would have preferred expiates just because it doesn't give back such heavy overlaps atop the X, but David has drawn an absolutely horrible rack of 3 O's, a U, 2 I's, and an R. He opts to exchange here. That's exactly what he needs to do. And Harshan has drawn both the Q and the Z, and this board is actually not that bad for the Q. So even if Harshan goes ahead with this play of lazed on top of the ITAXE, exactly the sort of play I would have wanted to avoid last turn, giving David that sort of overlap.
Setting
He's
up
going
an
to
easy
be
place to plunk your Q down for
he's going
32.
to be able to play the Q next turn. This is looking really, really good for Harshan. But let's see what David has drawn.
He has Snifter.
Oh.
So the fireworks are coming fast and furious here in this game 6.
I think maybe one question: where do you play lazed, here or 2 spaces to the left?
Right, of course. So that doesn't make the QAT spot that I mentioned. I totally understand that you would want to play your Z in that spot, so I stand corrected on that previous comment. But still,
it's interesting though. I mean, the upside of having QAT for 32 versus the downside of not setting up underlapping
it's
plays.
only a 2-point
Only
difference.
2-point difference.
Oh, it's so interesting. I would have thought it would be more, but yeah. Okay, well, here we see Snifter and that E-hook on Protege, and Harshan doing his classic slow roll. We can't see whether he's drawn a U or anything else to help his Q out here. If he manages to draw AT, he'll play Cat and Tax on top of Lazed, which would be a very, very nice rebuttal.
Yeah, AT. I mean, he has, if he draws an I, he has QI and IS. Matt, this is looking good, isn't it?
Yeah. This is going to be a spicy one. I know that.
This is like, even by Harshan standards, a bit of a protracted slow roll here as we wait to see what he has drawn.
So many tiles have been played so quickly. He's got a lot to be tracking, a lot of paperwork to be taken care of. And we've seen from both of these players, the brain drain definitely making the math a little bit harder for them. So he's picked up an S, and he will be able to play underneath Epitaxy's. Omen is 46 points, holding QKS. That looks very devastating for him. That's a huge play. The QI opportunity also there. Will you think you have to pull the trigger on Omen or Omen's beneath and take those points? Or do you play the Q first and hold on to those?
I would expect to play Omen here. A couple reasons for that. There are no U's on the board at all right now. So if you play a bunch of tiles, your odds are getting better and better to hold that Q and get some help in the form of a U from the bag. And also, as we were mentioning before, even the most, frustrating Scrabble principles, everybody has a price, right? You don't want to keep the Q and the K together with no U or, synergistic letters for them. But for almost 50 points, you will do a lot of things in a game of Scrabble.
I would do nearly anything for 50 points in a game of Scrabble, including hold QK. Would you play Omen or Omens here? Omens would be 5 more, putting down the S.
Interesting point. Josh, what do you think about popping the S down? Maybe you increase slightly your chance of getting more help for the Q by doing so, and you get a couple extra points.
Yeah, I think I keep the S here. It is interesting. There's another principle that when you have a Q and you're not playing it, you do want to play more letters to give you more chance at drawing an I that you might need or a U that you might need. So there is definitely an increased value, not just the 5 extra points in this position, but I think keeping the S long term will have some very significant benefits for Harshan. And at worst case scenario, if he draws all consonants, for example, next turn and needs to exchange, he will have an S to hold. So I think you want to keep the S here.
Oh, man, I'd play it. I know it's only 5 points. I know there's spots for it, but I'd play it. I want to make absolutely sure I pick up an I or a U next turn.
It's a very reasonable, you can't be faulted for that. I think that's, whenever you're making a decision in Scrabble, as long as you have a coherent plan within reason. Oh, wow, look at that. He's just played the Q by itself. I worry a lot that those nice overlapping plays might not stay available. But then again, maybe he's thinking that leave of monks with an E, maybe it's surprisingly good with Sokman, with just an A or an E draw, and Moscone. Yeah, actually, that's a Collins bingo. He's just drawn Moscone, I believe.
He has around a 40% chance of drawing into a bingo next turn.
Genius.
After QI.
So the recognition on Harshan's part that, I hope he sees Moscone.
Maybe he thinks
Gunsmoke not valid, just a TV show my sister is obsessed with.
But that's an amazing recognition by Harshan to realize that weird kind of mismatched leave of Smoke N actually bingos with a lot of draws from the bag.
Yeah, this is really interesting. QI was definitely the first thing that I saw in the position. I'm sure everyone who's a seasoned player, when you have QI available, leaving balanced letters, that's the first thing you want to do. It is surprisingly, I guess, a little bit more difficult than you might think to underlap epitaxis. Of course, Harshan does have a play there that he could have played last move. But yeah, I would worry about the underlaps and I would worry about missing. But then again, you're keeping a K and an M. You can score. So this was a very, very interesting decision by Harshan, and definitely can't call it a mistake.
Yeah, that is neat. That is next level thinking. You know, if I miss the bingo, Omen's likely to be available, but I'm so likely to hit one. Muscone in 2 spots up top with EE for 81, or making snifters for 78. Though that a lot more dangerous here. A Muscone to play likely on top's got to be the move, right?
Yeah, I think so. Just playing it with Snifter, of course, just floating a letter in the triple lane, maybe the easiest letter to bingo through apart from the S of an E there. Definitely something you want to avoid, even though placing an M in the triple lane might give your opponent a couple extra points from time to time. The overall downside risk of putting an M in the triple lane is considerably, it's much less likely that you're going to get hit with those nightmare plays that take the game out of reach immediately.
Guys, this is a gut check. I am like on the edge of my seat. Is Harshan going to play a phony word here? Is he going to see his valid word?
The drama is intense. I feel,
Oh my goodness.
Is he going to miss the bingo? That's better than playing a phony.
Yeah, Omen. I mean, again, we saw Omen when Harshan played Chi a moment ago. I think there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that the bingo is the best option for him here. But as misses go, as mistakes go, Omen, you could do a lot worse than a nearly 50-point play holding an S in reserve.
Yeah, I wonder if Harshan has actually at any point during this turn alphabetized his letters. We all know that when you're an expert player, when you're getting into the game trying to learn more words, the most common way of studying words is to be given those words in alphabetical order by a piece of software or website, and that way you remember the pattern. I don't remember. Do you guys remember if there was ever an alphabetization of this rack?
He went straight to unsmoke and has since rearranged his tiles here. So he must have imagined that is Gunsmoke a word, and he probably either has correctly decided that it's not, and now we're back to unsmoke. Oh man, this is huge.
Is it unsmoke? Is it Gunsmoke? What is he thinking?
Oh my goodness. And this is one of those too, like if you're studying, I'd probably mess up this alphagram a bunch, be like, unsmoke. And no, it's not unsmoke. It's something else. I wonder if that's going through his head, but I think he's about to play Omen here. I think he's going to miss the bingo.
Oh, this is huge with Harshan on the cusp and David Eldar having a pretty poor rack here. He's not in position to capitalize on a letter in the triple lane that harshly. This could be a huge swing that Harshan looks back at, but he still has yet to play. Let's see what he comes up with.
Let's get the Thatcha shuffle going. I think he's back to Gunsmoke. Oh man, he's seen the phony, and I think that's stopping him from seeing the valid bingo here.
Yeah.
This is crazy. And I mean, David on his last move, it's very possible that the play of JO and OS was a better play. But I don't know that anything is changed in this position other than, what is Harshan going to do? This is the most tense moment I think we've had so far.
He's going to play Omen. Here it comes. Okay,
Wow.
Harshan missing the bingo.
Okay, so again, as bingo misses go, this is not as damaging as it could be, but this will definitely be one that stings when Harshan discovers this after the game.
Maybe he won't need to discover it. It's crazy.
Okay, well, we've got to focus now on David, who is allowed some big underlapping plays. Pad and Pal both play beneath Omen. Pad is 41, Pal 39. He also has upload, making JA and ID to play off more of these tiles. Josh, are you scoring here with an underlap, holding LOUV or DOUV, or are you playing upload for 30?
Yeah, I'm definitely playing pad here. No question. The scores are close. David will be taking a lead after his play. There's nothing really. I mean, he might just be wondering why Harshan took so long in his play, but that can mean many things. Maybe Harshan has 3 U's on his rack. Maybe he has good letters. Maybe he has the other blank. I don't think he can do much with an inference here. I think you just gotta deal with the VU for another move. Hopefully you get bailed out.
Will, what do you think about this upload for the points?
The issue with upload is that if I'm David Eldar, I would really like to keep that E of epitaxis alive. Upload does kind of cut that off as a threat to continue making his comeback. You could easily see him draw a bingo, again ending in D or R or E, anything other than an S that's a reasonable letter, and upload would block that. So instead, he's taking some extra points by playing pad, and obviously his leave of LOVU is not ideal, but he leaves that spot open for another turn, for another day, and hopefully he gets some kind of miracle draw from the bag. At least that's what he's probably thinking.
He'll need a good draw to bail him out here, although he is now ahead by 19 points. It feels like he shouldn't be. We've seen a lot of firework, though, from both players. E, A, will he get a T? No, he'll pick up an I, so an awkward rack yet again.
It's okay. Ouija.
Yeah, it's not the worst. EKRSUWY, Harshan's rack now. A YEUK playing through the E in epitaxis is 22, holding ERSW. WUD down to the D in lazed holds EKRSY. He could burn the blank and play yucks and snifters for 32. There are other options as well. Will, how do you think you would approach this turn as Harshan?
I do like the KY combination on the rack when you're playing something like WUD in the upper right corner, because in the event that the E of epitaxis stays open, you are pretty likely to draw something heavy hitting with that KY combination, a 5-letter word extending from the E of epitaxis, ending in KY, reaching the double word score will score a pretty hefty number of points as a follow-up play. That being said, Harshan has to be a little worried about leaving that spot open too much longer, because you also don't want to get hit with a bingo there. You want to preserve your chances of staying in the game, not letting David get that bingo that's going to put things out of reach. So I am not 100% sure which way I would go here. Maybe Josh can help me tease this riddle out
I
here.
mean, this is crazy. Like, you see this rack and you assume there are 30, 40-point plays available all across the board, or at least make with the E and epitaxis making a 2-letter word. But there really is not much to do here for Harshan. I'm partial to playing yucks here, scoring the points, retaking the lead. But all of the plays in this position, all of the candidate plays are very close in value. Harshan is taking the defensive approach. He doesn't want to get hit hard on that row, on that third row. And yeah, I mean, we'll see what he draws here. Things could go well for him if he draws a couple consonants. And if he draws some clunkers, he might be in trouble. But the K works well with a lot of tiles.
So the defense we've come to know and recognize from Harshan on display once again there, as David, Ouija, OUIJA, looks to be the very obvious correct play for him out of this rack. Maybe he hasn't seen it yet. Maybe he just wants to take his time and examine options with awry. But I think Ouija got to be the play here, right?
That word is one of those words that I find it very easy to miss. As we see David rearrange his rack, he has spotted it. But, a 5-letter word, a 5-letter J word with 4 vowels is a great word to know, but this is a very weird word form that's pretty easy to miss, starting with an O, ending with an A, and with a J in it. That has not stopped David Eldar from spotting what we think is his best play here.
So Ouija coming down. Harshan holds the last S already at this juncture and could look to try to set it up. Another setup opportunity, HUNK through the N in Jins is 27 and holds EIST, an incredible leave. HUT plays above laced, making ulama and taxed, would strengthen bingos ending in S, but also allow words ending in vowels after he's just seen 4. SUQH or SUKH plays from the S in snifter for 24. Will, what would you be looking to do here?
Well, you see Hunk come down. I really like the combination here of a bunch of different factors. On the one hand, this play scores pretty well. On the other, it sets up his T. I would worry a little bit about the C, of course. If David were to have one, it would hurt, but the odds of that are not that likely. And best of all, keeping the EITS leave is about as promising as Harshan could get to maximize his bingo chances here. So I really like a lot of elements of this play, Josh.
Yeah,
There are
totally
a lot of vowels unseen, but he's found an N and 2 A's. He'll draw a great rack there. Antasia, Tayinias, and bingo options for him. A big break for Harshan, a bingo-prone leave yields a great result. David, AELMNNV. I expect him to make a play front-hooking rye with his A. Maven, navel, or maybe a shorter word like van or nav. Or Josh, what say you here?
Yeah, I don't think Antasia is getting blocked, so I think if David sees the A hook on a rye, which he probably saw right when Harshan played rye, whenever someone makes a play, you always want to look at, are there any hooks on this word that I have to think about until they come up? So a rye, a very commonly placed hook on the word rye. So I think David is just going to analyze, is the LN leave 4 points worse than the MN leave, since naval will score 4 points fewer than Maven, and he'll decide between the two of those. He's very good at knowing leave values, but what's going to be most important here is what does David draw after his play, because we know Harshan is sitting on a bingo of his own, and it looks like Antasia is going to play under the R of Snifter, if I'm not missing a better spot. And depending on what David gets, he might play a triple, he might bingo back, he might be dead in the water if Harshan then draws the final blank. This is very, very tense.
A second bingo opportunity through the G is Saginate, Saginate, if he wants to play conservatively, sacrificing a few points, yes, but doesn't have to open a triple, depending on the response here from David. This is interesting.
That's an interesting idea of, playing Saginate instead. Oh, man. I mean, that does have some of its own risks, of course. It's going to open up easy reparallel plays to that middle right-hand triple. And we see that, wow.
Play a veal, keeping 2 ends.
Very aggressive play, leaving the 2 ends and opening the triple. It doesn't look like Harshan has much to do through that V. There is an 8-letter word, sanative, but it does not play through that V. So Harshan's options have not changed.
Oh my God. Okay, here's the moment.
Antasia going to be the play. So now not 1, but 2 triples open on the board. The play to put Harshan up ahead just by 30 points, as David has kept scoring pressure on all game. 333 to 303, the lead for David here.
So David's replenishment draw after veal was not catastrophic, but also not great. So a lot now hinges on Harshan's draw. If Harshan draws something really good, this could be his chance to seize command of the game in this decisive game 6 with Harshan up 3 games to 2.
A blank draw would be huge for Harshan. Has he found it in that tile bag? All I see is arms right now.
We see those arm hairs preventing us from knowing the truth. And also Harshan's slow roll preventing us from knowing the truth. But soon enough, we will see.
So David has a play of Bonham through the A of Antasia. And if he manages to draw the blank after that, he'll be in great position. The score is only 30 points apart. Oh,
Harshan's
there
found
it
it, the
is.
blank on his rack,
That-
EET to go with it, an O, a Y, and another O, I believe.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
he's
All
found a
right,
bunch of
so
vowels, but that blank, David with Bonham or overlapping Entasia 5 times, Ab-Ohm is 43 as well.
So you are thrilled if you're Harshan to see that blank. Of course, the rest of the tiles give David just enough chance to maybe he can fight his way back. It does look like he has a lot of his tiles arranged to play Bonham through that A of Entasia. What will Harshan do here? It's just a race now to see if Harshan can get that blank bingo down before David Eldar draws something to equalize the score.
So no S's unseen, just the blank on Harshan's rack would be the back hook to Bonham. It does take an S. Harshan with no good plays using the V at the top of the board. Top options, perhaps OYE, underlapping veal to make veely, would keep floaters in Entasia available, would keep that V in the triple line available. Potentially he could draw a bingo ending in S. We'll reveal the unseen tiles to Harshan now. There are not too many vowels left for him to draw. Only one E left unseen to him as well. Very interesting pool or distribution here. I'm seeing from my producer. I think we'll get it on very soon. Coyote, also an option. Burning the blank, front hooking hunk is 47 points. I don't think that's something Harshan looks to do here. Will OYE and Vili or something else?
Yeah, he can't burn the blank here. It's far too powerful given that the 4 real S's and the other blank have been played. That blank is Harshan's ticket to bingoing now with Bonhams as soon as he's able to get his rack into shape. You cannot burn it here for even an intermediate level score, in my opinion. I do think that as scary as it is to leave the V open, I like this play of Oi to be aggressive. If Harshan is able to draw something flexible, it's very, very likely he'll be bingoing next turn, Josh.
Look at Dave's reaction. I think he is aware what this play will tend to imply. It does seem that if you're playing OYE here, you have pretty good letters left behind. I saw him cringe. He's really good at on the fly just making some inferences about what his opponent is keeping. And yeah, I mean, it's a close game, but if Harshan draws a couple consonants here, it might not be close for long.
It's an I, a D, and another I for Harshan. Not the best draw, but okay for
So
him.
video fit from that V. if somehow David does not block that V, which is entirely possible because he might need it to stay open. And there you see Harshan has arranged his tiles in that order. So this could be it, folks. If that V stays open and Harshan is able to get this incredible word down, this is going to be the word that's mentioned in the news articles about this as the word that won Harshan the championship.
But even if
Harshan
he
has
sees
another
the other
bingo at the
thing-
bottom. He spotted it too. Tenioid with 4 underlaps under Entasia. Bingos in both parts of the board for Harshan. Oh my
Beautiful.
goodness.
Spotting
Oh my
them both
goodness.
within seconds, that is unbelievable recognition on his part to be able to spot his 2 options across the board from each other, one through the V at the top of the board and one parallel to Entasia at the bottom. That's amazing.
Man, Dave's
will
going to need a
likely
lot of
take
help.
He'll likely take this V away. Vowel or wolf, its anagram, likely to be the plays here, unless he looks to bingo himself. He has to understand he's in some trouble in this situation. Maybe REW and WO down at the bottom beneath Entasia, and cross your fingers and hope you don't get hit with the V bingo. He has to know he's in poor shape right now. After OYE must be a bad omen. Harshan certainly sitting on the last unseen E and likely some other good stuff. REW and WO gives up video fit. Val or Wolf give up Tenioid at the bottom. This is an intense moment, but a big swing coming for Harshan in either case.
I should just clarify that even after the bingos, if David is able to draw a good enough rack on his next move, it's not completely hopeless for him. The odds of that are not great, but it's certainly not impossible. And it looks like David has rearranged his letters to play Wolf, which would take Video Fit away, force Harshan into his slightly lower scoring bingo, and it would definitely preserve some winning chances for David to play that here.
Man, this is so intense.
It is intense. With the title of world champion and $10,000 hanging in the balance, every little nuance has to be considered by both players here.
Harshan must be, man, there must be loads of adrenaline.
Yeah. To stay calm and continue to just focus, make sure you're not missing any detail here. And David making Harshan's next decision a little easier for him by taking that big V bingo of Video Fit away. I think I would expect to see Tenioid.
No ease. There are no ease left.
There are no
I
ease.
need to draw something incredible here.
Toucan and a
Account.
That's not going to fit.
He has an unplayable account.
But that C's going to give him big points. CatCon and Chunk is 47. That will pull him to within just a few points of Harshan after this bingo.
He's tantalizingly close to Coconut with Chunk hooking too. Right?
Wow.
So what we're saying here, if you're not following along, we're looking into the future. Harshan playing Tenioid. He's already spotted the word underneath Antasia. He's going to take a 51-point lead after that play. And David is potentially going to score almost 50 points himself, hooking the C onto Hunk, playing CatCon, bringing himself within 4 points of Harshan, leaving 2 tiles in the bag. So it's really going to be interesting to see what happens in these next 2 plays. This is what's going to determine the winner and possibly the winner of the championship.
Man,
this is incredible.
We know Harshan has seen Tenioid. He spelled it out. He's probably just making absolutely sure that he's not missing either a better bingo or potentially sometimes when you have the blank, the best option is actually to keep it. If you're able to score something like 35, 40 points somewhere, it doesn't look like there's anything close to that on this board. So I do expect Harshan to make his play here of Tenioid, and let's see how quickly David responds, and then it's really down to the replenishment draws here.
And after Tenioid, there will be 4 unseen vowels. There will be a V, 2 G's. So Harshan could run into a lot of trouble in his next draw. It's definitely not over here. And yeah, a lot is riding on what is being drawn in the next couple moves. This is, yeah, I already said this is intense. I think Harshan's getting ready to play Tenioid. David's going to have to spot CatCon keeping a U, or maybe he could play Toucan in the same spot with Thunk, but CatCon probably giving him the best chances, but leaving him with the U. He's going to have to avoid all of those landmines. There's another U to draw. There's a V. Yeah, there's 2 G's. We're talking about the G a lot. This is, we just have to wait and see, guys.
So here it comes. Tenioid coming down. The draw after this play, so pivotal for Harshan. We know CatCon will bring Eldar within 4 points after the play. Harshan definitely looking for 2 vowels at least on his post-bingo draw. David shakes his head. How could I get hit with the bingo there? I wasn't expecting a bingo there, and I don't get to play a count back. Man, that is a killer. But he's got to stay calm, realize he's got a big play back, 47 points for CatCon. What will Harshan draw? How many blanks will he get? Let's recount the play real quick. I'd be shaking too.
Yeah, draw like GG, RR, UV or something like that would be really devastating for Harshan here. Not that he would not have winning chances even in that state, but something flexible will leave him in very good shape here. Let's see what he gets.
He needs vowels. He needs vowels. I-O, a great way to start. L-R,
My gosh.
U-V, and an
All
A.
4 of the
Found
vowels.
nearly every vowel in the bag. Incredible draw for Harshan. Wow.
This might be it.
So it is an excellent turn of fate for him to have drawn all those vowels, but I would not say that this is the most flexible rack. You've got the UV combination. Of course, the fact that you have so many vowels is going to be huge because you know that in all likelihood, David Eldar is going to be struggling with a ton of consonants. So just looking at the unseen tiles right now, just to emphasize, that is from David's point of view. So from David's point of view, the bag contains A, I, O, U, but what we actually see is 4 out of those 5 vowels on Harshan's rack. There is only one more vowel available in the bag for David to draw, and that could come with 2 G's and 2 R's, or who knows what other unwieldy combination.
The 8 tiles in the bag, B, D, F, G, G, I, R, R. So David will hold on to a U after CatCon, the play we expect to come down. But will he find additional relief? That I is going to be big for him to pick up. And even then, he's going to have a fairly inflexible rack, putting Harshan in a in-game situation.
Something like VAR and Raxed for Harshan is going to be really difficult for David to overcome. That will score quite well for Harshan, and more importantly, it will leave 3 vowels to come to pair with those consonants that are likely to come out of the bag. I do feel like a play like VAR.
ALAMA?
Oh, sorry, never mind. I am wrong. I need to think a little bit better. Is there any? Sorry, folks. I forgot that I'm looking at the U hook, not the A hook there.
And we see Dave considering playing Ulama himself here.
Oh, wow.
I have to wonder, does he probably realizes the devastating unseen letters here, and he probably thinks that there's only a very small chance that even after CatCon he'll be able to pull out the win. So I think he's trying to consider whether he should be keeping all of his good letters, maybe threaten to play a bingo underneath Tenioid if he draws an I. So cut.
It's amazing recognition on his part, just to make sure that he's keeping a couple of vowels. He's keeping that C. There are no T's available for Harshan to play thunk. He has the last hook to hunk on his rack in the form of the C, and this gives him much, much better chances of having a great follow-up play on his next turn. I really like that choice for David Eldar here.
Okay.
And
he's pulled into coding.
So
he has a
chunk and
very big play. Oh, man.
So once again, we were very quick to assume what David needed to do, and he comes up with an potentially even better plan. Once again, we're just telling you guys, like, we're sitting here. These guys are the real deal.
That's
finding
amazing.
Every chance that they have. David maintaining his hook to hunk, and he's drawn into a 50-point play. He's only down 20 points. Harshan in a situation where there are 5 tiles left unseen. He's not going to want to play 5 tiles here unless he thinks that's his best chance. This is a very big gut check here for both players.
Clocks are dwindling as well, so you do not have a ton of time to think this over. I mean, if you are Harshan, you're looking at that pool and you're saying to yourself, wow, there are only 3 vowels to 9 consonants. Do I really need to worry too much about a bingo under Tenioid? The answer is probably not too much, but I would definitely be concerned about the chunk hook. The question is, how do you block it while also scoring enough points? And if he plays ovular,
oh my God, Gonadic,
he will lose to Gonadic and Erg here. This makes a lot of sense to block chunk.
Keep a vowel, score points.
But this is, I mean, this does accomplish some of the goals that Harshan wants to accomplish here. Blocking Chunk, Ovular, again, playing underneath the T and E of Tenuoid, but it has a huge drawback of opening a triple word score to a bunch of letters. I just don't think he's going to play that here. I wonder if he's going to play this instead.
Thinking of Viola, but that's next to the BON of Bonham.
Yeah.
That might do it as well. I mean, maybe you do want to empty the bag here, score as many points as possible.
Viola will score well, and it will force David to empty the bag if he makes a 6-tile play starting with the C of Chunk. So maybe that's what he's thinking of here.
DFGRR is what Harshan's going to draw if he plays Viola.
Oh, man.
I think it's going to be so close. He's going to have so much stuff to deal with on the next turn. David's going to have an endgame to himself. I don't know. Is that winning?
You have to assume the C is on David's rack. You have to assume the C is on David's rack after a play like Cut. With that hunk spot available, you have to assume he wouldn't play a C without the other one. You've got to be very worried about that spot. But how do you address it? Harshan clearly wants to with these plays he's set up, and we just happen to know he's going to get hit back with worst case out bingo scenario here. But I don't know. Is there any way to block it through the O in Ouija? Come down that direction instead?
I don't know. All I know is that I've just looked at this sequence, and if Harshan plays Viola, he will lose by 2 points to optimal endgame play after coding. This is crazy.
Insane.
I mean, David has like pretty much some of the best things he could possibly have here. You have to spend all of your time here. You don't want to go overtime, of course, but he's looking at Ovular again, and that's just an instant loss. Is he going to put it on the board and take it back? I don't know if I can handle this, guys. Someone help me. Someone rock me.
We've seen Harshan before try to leave 3 tiles in the bag. That Pite or Light play looked very strange compared to some other options. That's got to be another thing he's thinking about. Maybe I can survive the Chunk play if I play 2 tiles, VID down to the D and lazed. Maybe something we see as well. Ovular looks to be a decent play with the information he has, but it does lose to Gonadic. This is so hard. This is so hard.
I do have to say, on the lunch break, Harshan was lamenting his choice of playing PITH in that previous game, and he felt like he just was not able to stay focused in that game, and I think he's suffering from just maybe some form of mild PTSD about what happened in that previous game where he almost lost after playing PITH. So I think he's going to play Viol, which is nicer to keep the A.
Yeah, that A is a huge difference maker for him.
I think it might still not be enough. I don't know. He's scoring 7 fewer points. David's going to be going out. Yeah, David's going to be going out on the next move no matter what, I think, if after coding. And he's playing it. I mean, there's nothing else to think about, right? Is there?
No, he's played it instantly, knowing that it is going to put him pretty far up on the scoreboard. I'd say something like 10 points going into the end game.
This is winning for David. He's only up
David's
9
won the game.
points.
David's won the game. Even best in-game sequence from Harshan, he gets outrun. He loses by 11 here. David's got the game.
Wow.
That is incredible.
Wow. This is crazy. David's play of Cut, the most incredible play I've seen so far.
Yeah, Cut looked so wild, but it is so good in hindsight.
It had everything to do with the unseen vowels in the pool. Instead of playing CatCon, leaving just a U, David used his weakest vowel and kept his 2 best ones in the O and A, and he did manage to draw that one lone I that was still in the bag, and it paid huge dividends for him here.
I've watched a lot of World Championships, guys. Every time they've been streamed, I was there. I don't think I've seen anything like this. This is so suspenseful.
Yeah, the two plays of the match so far by David Eldar are 3-letter words, tan and cut. That's Scrabble for you, folks. A lot of people think that it's about the craziest, the biggest, craziest words. And in fact, nothing could be further from the truth. The words are just playing pieces that cover up the beautiful strategy of this game.
This is what Harshan is feeling. He plays Fubar. That's probably how he's feeling about the game. Oh my goodness.
To have a lead so late in this game with the world championship hanging in the balance and have David Eldar steal it in this fashion must hurt. Harshan's got to shake this off. He's got another game to play, and I, for one, am thrilled that we are getting to Game 7 of this incredible match.
All right, so David holds serve. We'll cut to overhead mic and hear if we get anything from these players here.
477, 464.
What was your remaining tiles here?
Hey,
All right, that's good to know. That's really good to know. There's nothing I could have done.
no,
You could have had the bingo if I tried to block, right?
Canik.
Yeah, so this unwinnable game, basically.
Well, except for Muscone.
Okay, fine. Let's just work the
This
scores
is a
out.
hot mic moment. Will.
I know.
So Fuba's 29. I was 425 before 29. That's 454, correct? No. Sorry, I got this got all right. So that's 4 and 4. That's 8.
Okay,
That's 9.
okay. I've got. Can I see
So-
your score sheet?
Yeah, have you got me at 425 before after 10
Yes. Then
Yeah,
446.
yeah. And that's 4 and 4. That's 8. That's 9.
That's 18.
So hold on 1 second. 9. And that's 21, right?
Yes.
So that was 21. That was 21. That's 446. Okay, fine. All right. That was 446. And then you got coding for 7, 8, 9, 36, 40, 43, 43, and 7. Yeah, that's 50. So coding. So that makes you 4, 5, 6. And I've got Fuba, which is appropriate. 6, 9, 10. That's 18. 464.
Yes.
And then you went out with 6, 7, 8,
4,
9, 10,
7.
11, 15.
Yes.
15. Okay. That's 471.
Plus 6.
Yeah,
4, 6.
sure.
Thanks.
GR plus 6. So 477, 464. Well done.
Thanks.
Well played. Really well played. Lovely. Really good.
So we will cut to one more final break between these two players after David sneaks out a 12-point victory in a back and forwards game. The first two of David's victories, he dropped 4 bingos each time. This one, he had to work for it, and work he did, putting on a pre-end game clinic. Harshan asking the extra tile on coding, realizing, oh, I was done no matter what. Anything I tried to do to block would give you Gonatic back. Both players realizing that the end of that game, just the level of thought these guys put into these end of game situations is absolutely incredible. And we will move to game 7. One game of Scrabble will determine our world champion. We'll cut back to the booth as I'll be joined by Will and Josh while these players look to shake off the nerves and give us one more game.